Hello, I'm Captain Stromberg, and in this video I want to show you just a little bit about MyBlocks and some traps that you can run into by having variables inside of MyBlocks and using the same variables inside of MyBlocks as outside of MyBlocks. So I'm going to start really quick, and I'm just going to have a variable, and we're going to use the count variable, and I'm just going to set this, so I'm going to write it to be equal to 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a math block, and this could be absolutely anything here, and then I could read this math block and come in here, add 1, and we should be using our count, and then we're going to write that out, our numeric, and we're going to write that to count. So this is a really simple program, and then I'm going to put a wait block at the end so we can run this and see what the variables are when we run it. So we set this to 1, we add 1, and we come and get 2. So that's a pretty simple little program. It did exactly what we expected it to do. But now I'm going to make another little program, and I am going to have a variable, and I'm going to use the variable count, and I am going to write it to be 50. Now, I'm going to just make that into a MyBlock. And it's going to be a real simple MyBlock. It just sets that to 50. And the important thing isn't that it's doing anything fancy, it's that we're just putting this inside of a MyBlock. Set to 50, so we're going to MyBlock set 50 sets count to 50. And so now we're going to go back to my program 6, and if I have a little MyBlock, and this is MyBlock set 50, and if I were to take that right and insert it into here and go ahead and run this program, what's going to happen is we're going to have the output be 51. Now you're not going to see, if you're looking at this program, you're going to see, well, the count's set to 1. Then I take the count and I read that value and I add 1 to it, and that should equal 2. But what you can't see unless you look inside the MyBlock is that this is actually setting the count to 50 right here, and then we're adding 1 to the 50, and we're getting 51. And in programming in the real world, we would call that a global variable. That even in a subroutine, which is MyBlock is kind of a subroutine, the variables can be reassigned that are outside of that subroutine. So it's important when you're dealing with variables inside of MyBlocks that they have the potential to change things that have happened outside of the MyBlock. So you need to be careful when you're using your variables that if you're using them inside and outside of the MyBlock, that you don't make a mistake and get something that you don't intend to get. So I hope that was helpful and that you'll be able to not run into some of the same problems that I have had to learn the hard way, and that you can make some better programs and use this information wisely. Have a good day. Hope you enjoyed this video.